whatever. It was passed along, doot, 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 and given to me. Hi friends, welcome or welcome back. I'm MC and I have been on a really big yarn and fiber stash journey. And in the past 2 months, things have taken a turn. So whether you are new or you've been following this journey from the beginning, if you haven't already, make sure you head down and subscribe to the channel so that you can catch the rest of my yarn and fiber adventure. And without further ado, let's jump right in to what happened in the months of September and October. Alrighty, Roo, let's remind ourselves where we were at the beginning of 2025. I started with 77 skeins, totaling 7,886 grams and 26,139 yards. And we will see as we go through September and October how things have changed. Let's begin with September and the yarn that came in. What happened first of all is that I decided to frog a blanket that I was working on. I only had like an inch of it done, and I was going to use 5 skeins of the Fiber Co. fingering weight yarn, and I decided to frog it. So that is 5 skeins back into my stash. They've been here for a while. They were out and in a project bag for months, and then I just decided to move on with my life. So that's 5 skeins back in my stash. Then I grabbed a skein of Whippersnapper on my 4-share fingering, and as you can see, this has already been made into something. So I brought in this skein in the month of September, and I made this into the Tansy Tank by Alicia Plummer. And then I went down to visit my friend Bree and went to her trunk show that she was having in Pennsylvania, and I grabbed a sock blank. And now you might be saying, MC, that does not look like a sock blank, and that is correct, because I very, very briefly started working on something with this sock blank, and I decided it was driving me bonkers to have the crinkly yarn, so I used my Niddy Noddy and I wound it up and I soaked it and I turned it into a regular skein. So that is 1 more skein in. And then here's a problem that happened while I was down there in Pennsylvania. I grabbed a Moana 2 countdown from Bree to add onto my blanket that I made last year with my Moana countdown. So that is 30 skeins into my stash in September. Oops. And partly that is the reason why I'm sitting here today instead of standing in front of my stash like I normally do. I have so many things, including those 30 skeins, that there's no way I could be standing while I'm doing this. I have stuff everywhere. So to recap, that is 5 skeins that I frogged and put back into my stash, 30 new mini skeins, a sock blank, and a skein of my fingering. So that is a total of 37 skeins into my stash in the month of September, and that is a total of 1,300 grams and 5,435 yards. Okay, now I'm gonna be honest, I can never remember if I do like September in and out, October in and out, or I do September in, October in, September out, October out. I literally can never remember that. And one day I will look up what I do and come prepared. But that day is not today. So what I took out of my stash in September is obviously this skein of Whippersnapper on my For Sure fingering base. Like I said, I made the Tansy Tank by Alicia Plummer. I also made a quick little, I believe this is the Catalonia Crop Top by Claire Jackson, and this is using a skein of What Happened to Grape Soda. It's coming off much more blue on screen. It is a quite blue purple, but it is definitely purple. So I used one skein of my Noda DK for that. Then, oh gosh, I have to organize myself. I decided to make a side-long shawl. There's stuff falling all over the place. I decided to make a side-long shawl, which is one of my patterns, and I used up 3 skeins of my Shetland fleece hand spun that I processed myself. And I used 3 beautiful, glorious skeins of it for this. So that is 3 skeins out of my stash. And then I cast on, oh gosh, and have not used or not worked on very much recently, but I cast on a Second Ave sweatshirt, which by the way, I always forget to say what I'm wearing. I'm wearing a Second Ave sweatshirt designed by Bree of the Little Wolf Knits, also using Bree's yarn in Barbie Girl and Troll Boogies. And I cast on another one, also in Bree's yarn. And so I had 2.5 skeins of flats or drums on Boucle and 1 skein of prongs on DK. And so that is 3.5 skeins that left my stash to work on this project. So that totals 8.5 skeins out for September. Finally got rid of that half skein. And that is 850 yards and 2,028, no, sorry, 850 grams and 2,028 yards. Now, let's move into October. I brought in 5 skeins of yarn to work on another sample of my scribble sweater, which as you can see is now complete. So I held some yarn together. I used a one-of-a-kind, a one-hit wonder on my For Sure fingering base from me, 2 skeins of Life is Gouda from Yarnable, and then I used Knuckle Sandwich, one of my minis, for the contrast. So I had 1 mini and 4 skeins of fingering weight, so that is 5 skeins that came in for this sweater. I think we can all tell that coming up it will have left the stash, but that's 5 skeins in. And then I also dyed myself up 3 skeins of Macon Whoopie on my Bodacious Boucle base. The lighting is a little bit off today. This is showing a bit darker than it is in person, but I dyed out 3 skeins of this Macon Whoopie for myself for a future project plan. So I brought that into my stash. Look at me working ahead and actually dyeing things and planning ahead. Woohoo! And then I brought in 3 more skeins on my For Sure fingering base of something that I cannot show you yet. I don't want to be like someone that's holding big secrets forever. By the time my next podcast goes live, so this video will go live on a Friday, and then my next podcast episode will be the following Friday. By that Friday, you will know what I'm working on, so you don't have to wait that long. Just like a couple more days after this video comes out, you'll find out. But yeah, I can't show you just yet what I'm working on. So that is 5 skeins for my scribble sweater, 3 skeins of Make and Whoopee, 3 secret skeins. And so that is 11 skeins in October, totaling 10,020 grams and 3,866 yards. Now, what we have out in October is, firstly, I decided I wanted to make my side-long shawl bigger. So I started this in September, and then as we went along, I ended up deciding to make it even bigger, and I added in a skein of DK from Ohana Fiber Mill. This is hand spun as well. I didn't use the whole skein, but it counts as a skein out because as soon as I use something, that skein is out, and then I keep track of my leftovers differently. So 1 skein out to finish this up, and then I cast on a little quick pair of socks using the colorway Day Hiking from Woolens and Nosh. So that is going. I have this for just like very, very simple whenever I want something easy peasy and tiny. It's not really something I'm working on a lot. So that is 1 skein out. Then, where did it go? I've lost track of myself already. 5 skeins out, as we guessed, for my scribble sweater. And those 3 secret skeins that I brought in have also gone out because I cast something on. So that is 1 skein of hand spun, 1 skein of for the socks, 5 skeins for the scribble sweater, and 3 secret skeins. So that means I had 10 skeins leave my stash in October, totaling 920 grams and 3,781 yards. Now, remember when I said I started with 77 skeins in my stash? I currently have 73 skeins in my stash. I currently have 73 skeins totaling 4,847 grams and 15,421 yards. Now, I will say I have about 3,000 less grams and almost or over 10,000 less yards than when I started, because 30 of these skeins are minis now. So yeah, I'm almost back to where I started, which is a thing. So far I have brought in 82 and a half skeins over the course of the year, and I've removed 86 and a half. So yeah, I definitely 1,500,000% have plans to continue my Moana blanket before the end of the year. I would really like to have it finished before the end of the year, but I will at least be adding these, like removing these 30 skeins from stash because they're going into the blanket before the end of the year. So at least that will get out of there. And then I'll be back down to somewhere in the 40s. I am feeling a little bit overwhelmed at the moment. Not that bad. And honestly, it's not even the like 30 mini skeins that are making me feel overwhelmed. It's my other stash. I think I might be in a place of doing a de-stash or making some hats for people, or picking yarns and holding them double so that I can get through things faster. I just think I have some yarn. I'm looking at it, sorry. I have some yarn that's just been sitting there for long enough, and I think I'm ready to kind of move on from some of these things. I still really like them, but I am tired of them being here for all this time. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I need like a separate stash that's yarn that's just like, I still like this and I still want to work with it, but it's probably not going to be for me. Like, it's just a yarn stash that I pull from when I want to make someone a hat for a gift or something. Does that still count as stash? I don't know. I guess I'd still count it as stash, but maybe it's the visual would make me feel better. Of like, if it's in a different spot, the visual of what I'm truly looking at every day will be my happy yarn. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Let's talk about fiber. I started this year with 45.3 ounces of fiber in stash. Fiber is so much easier to track because all I do is just count the ounces. I don't count bumps or braids or bats or whatever because so many things are so different. So we just do straight ounces with fiber. So I started the year with 45.3. Let's talk about September. What happened in September? Oh my gosh, I have to move some things. Hang on. Okay, first things first, I bought some Rolags from Kira Wiggins when I was down in Pennsylvania. I'm gonna leave them in the bag, sorry. When I was down in Pennsylvania, I got 50 grams, so that's 2 ounces of Rolags. And as you can see, I have started to spin them already. I am about halfway through with this spin. I have had to put it on pause for a little bit, but yeah, so 2 ounces of Rolags came in September. And then also while I was at the same fiber festival at Lehigh Valley Fiber Festival. Oh, wait a second. I haven't even shown this yet on the channel. I just realized that. When I went to Lehigh Valley Fiber Festival, I got 2 braids of Shaniko. I believe that's how you say it, Shaniko. I like Shaniko better, but I guess, like, you know, I should probably say it correctly. Whatever. It is Merino Rambouillet related type of sheep. And this is from Yarn Jam, who I have never even heard of before or worked with their fiber or yarn, but we chatted for a little while and I really like these colors. This is Pumpkin Patch Vibes and this is Frigid. And they're both 4 ounces, so that is 8 ounces in. So that means that's all I got in September. Fiber is usually easier for me to track than yarn. In September, I had 10 ounces come in, and what went out is, as you can see, I almost immediately started working with my Rolags. So that is 2 ounces out. And then also, I brought this project with me to spin, and I actually haven't worked on it since. But wow, it is getting really dark outside. Holy cow. Sorry about that. It's like I'm all of a sudden in shadow. What was I saying? I started this spin while I was down in Virginia, and this is with 2 braids from Into the World. This is Strange Children, and this is Scissors Lizard Spock. So I have spun half of Scissors Lizard Spock. So far, it is downstairs, and I didn't bring my wheel up. But that is, those are each 4 ounces, so that is 8 ounces out. So that means, again, 10 ounces out for September. So September was net 0. October was pretty easy. What happened is, I'm not gonna take this out because it's pretty jammed in here. This is some alpaca roving that I technically had, but forgot I had. And I've been doing some like cleaning and organizing, and my mom gave me this. It was like a friend had, whatever, it was passed along. Doot, doot, doot. and given to me. And so this is some alpaca roving. It is 2.1 ounces. I've never spun alpaca before. So that's it. That's all that came in October. And oh my goodness, it's very nice to say that there is nothing out in October because honestly, I'm just tired of all these numbers and talking about it. So it's nice to be like, nope, nothing. So that is all that happened with my fiber in October. So, if you've been following along, I went off the rails with my fiber stash a while ago. So we've been a little high with these numbers for a while, but I currently have 68.7 ounces remaining in my stash. I have brought in 99.8 ounces this year and I removed 76.4, and absolutely none of those have been from D-Stash. I had that is all things that I've spun. So that's kind of cool that I've spun 76.4 ounces of fiber. Which is more than the amount of fiber that I currently have in my stash, which is really kind of cool to think about. Like, I can look at my shelf and see the fiber that's sitting there, and I can say, all of that, I have spun more than that whole shelf this year, which is cool. And I still have plans to keep doing more. I feel less overwhelmed by the fiber than the yarn. That has always been the case. I've always just been kind of like, I have a different feeling about my fiber. I kind of approach things in a different way, and when I spin things, if I spin it and I don't like it, I don't like the finished product, I'm like not attached to it at all, and I don't mind. I can still have a lot of fun spinning even if I'm not liking the way that it's turning out. But it doesn't work like that for me with knitting or crochet. Like, if I'm not having fun making it or I'm not liking what's happening, it's not fun for me. So my fiber, I really feel like it doesn't matter what's there. Like, I can really I am excited about every single bit of it, even if I end up selling the fiber or the hand spun yarn once I'm done with it. I'm not going to knit something that I don't want to make and then sell it afterwards or gift it to someone. Like, I will make gifts here and there, but like, I'm not going to make something I don't feel like doing. So it's a bit more complicated in my brain when it comes to yarn. Anyway, thank you so much for spending this time with me as we went through September and October stash. I cannot believe that we only have November and December left to do. So that means that the next time we sit down and talk about my yarn, it will be 2026, and we will be doing the last 2 months of the year and maybe reflecting on the whole year in total. Let's see if I can get myself to a happy place by the end of this year without stressing myself out too, because I want to get to a happy place through a happy place. Like, I want to be on a happy little journey while I'm getting to my happy place. I don't want to hate the journey. Anyway, remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And until next time, take care of you, and I will see you later. Bye.